Hello everyone, welcome back to our YouTube channel, the Wasini family. This is Grace Wasini, and in today's video I'll make it really quick and short. I was just something I was brainstorming on. I was thinking about what my husband went through. Was it cheap or was it expensive to bring me to Denmark? So here it goes. When you're thinking about bringing an African wife to Europe, so I just thought maybe I'll tackle a few issues here and there. We're just going to brainstorm. So I've not written anything or there's nothing serious. This is just real life talk. And I thought maybe it would be helpful for someone there, a gentleman, especially the white men who are interested in black, African, gorgeous women. So to without further ado, let's get to it. So number one, I've been thinking about when you, and also the factors to consider when you bring your wife, things you should, the do's and don'ts. For example, to start with, I think you should think about the, I was thinking so much about the vitamin D because we are melanin and our skins are different and the cold here is so much. So you have to think about buying those vitamin Ds, and not just the ordinary ones. There are those strong ones from the pharmacy that 90 milligrams, something like that. I'll take a picture of my own and attach it to this video, so maybe it will be helpful for someone out there. Of course, the expenses, the air ticket, the whole process, the stressful, it's actually, it can be stressful or unstressful. It depends on whom you meet, while you're processing your documents and everything. But in my case, it was, I would say, less stressful. No one stressed me, no one asked for bribes, but it's kind of a long process, and both financially and in all ways, and also running around, from one office to another, from maybe one embassy to another. So it's really not an easy thing. It takes a lot of love and a lot of, you really, we have to do this when you really want to, you really love the person who want to do it. Otherwise, it's not a joking matter like people think. So I would say it's not an easy process. And then talking about how cheap, let's talk about how cheap or expensive. And well, when you bring her, we coming from Africa, it's a totally different life from there to the different life in Africa compared to Europe. But nevertheless, there are some people coming from very wealthy families in Africa. So if you bring her here, maybe there'll be not much, still there'll be different things she's not seen, but or he has not seen, if it's a woman bringing a man. But nevertheless, it's, I think it'll be really cost effective or cheaper, because they are seeing things that they've not seen in Africa. Maybe the clothes or the shoes they want to buy. People here, for example, in Denmark, dwell so much on what am I putting on? Is it vintage? Is it the brand, the label? Is it Adidas? And is it original? So it's not just about the brand name or anything, because they're fakes. So which phone I know which, maybe not which phone I hold it, because even young children here can hold the iPhone 14, not just a Honor and maybe Pro Max, the latest. So maybe people are dwelling so much on, and to be honest, what they're dwelling on is really expensive. Maybe a shoe can cost about 50,000 kroners, which is a lot of money. I don't know how to convert that in dollars, but maybe in Uganda shillings, maybe even about 10 million Uganda shillings, or 20, just a shoe or a bag, So when you bring this lady from Africa, let's say she's coming from a middle to do a family, then she's not dwelling so much on that. She's just looking at what, okay, if maybe this dress is beautiful. If she is a fashionista, let's say like me, she's just looking at, okay, this top is beautiful, I love the shape here, I love the color, I just love yellow. But people here are looking at, yes, but how much does it cost, or the brand or the label, whatever they call it. So or the quality of whatever you're buying. And so it's going to be really totally different. And still, we are also coming from Africa. Let's say most European countries here, people ride bicycles, especially Denmark, we love bicycles. So you have to put in, you consider the fact that you have maybe teach how to ride the bicycle. My husband taught me in 3 days, so I did not ride the bicycle, funny enough. But so, and funny because in Africa people are like bicycle. Oh, and here even the ministers, the prime ministers ride bicycles. Even the members of parliament here, a bicycle is wealth. So especially if you have an electric one, it's something big. So maybe you have to consider that. And then you have, just saying how cheap and expensive it's going to be to bring her. I think it's going to be really, but it's also going to be expensive because maybe I want to talk about the job, because then she has to find a good job. But countries like here, for example, in Denmark, you have to first make sure that good Danish, or some Danish, to get a good, well-paying job. So if you bring her, most probably she's getting a job which is, as she goes maybe to Danish language school or learn German, maybe German, then she has to get something maybe low paying. So maybe it will be quite expensive then to bring the person here than having to have a Danish wife or something who can speak Danish and is also educated from here, because the education from Africa, once it's converted to here, then the papers are converted, then it's kind of low. So maybe you may not climb the ladders as fast as you expect. By the end of the day, it's all about patience and everything, and you get there. Well, what other factors do you have to consider? How cheap? Like I said, I think it will be really quite cheap for you, because also maybe the food she eats or we eat may not be demanding for very expensive foods. I just, maybe for example, I'm coming from Uganda or Lamatoke, and there's so many shops around here with all those African foods, though they may be a bit quite expensive than you find them in Africa, but it's not really very expensive. So it's just something I had in mind, compare if it's cheap or expensive bringing the African wife to Europe. So other factors constant, I think that would be it. I just thought of a few words here and there, so a few tips here and there, ideas I had in mind. If I forget anything, maybe we can share it in the comment section. As I said, thank you so much for tuning in once again, and to the returning subscribers, thank you so much. And we're really growing at the fast rate, and I love it. And stay tuned. Hi.